All right, and welcome back. We're at Dash at Night. I'm your host, Dash. I got my good friend Ed here tonight. We're going to be talking toys, toy collecting. Appreciate everybody coming out. Before I get started, you can check out this show. It'll be live on, or the replay will be on YouTube after we're done, as well as live on YouTube. And then it'll be replaying on Facebook as well. But Ed, why don't you introduce yourself, give some information about yourself?
So I'm Ed Davis. I am a comic book writer, and I write two series, Immortal Era and Corruptor. You see them kind of behind me. But I'm also a huge collector. I've been collecting for years. So when I kind of saw the collection behind you, I thought, we definitely have that in common. So big time collector, and pretty much what don't I collect would be the answer. And it's fun to talk to other people who know the mentality. They know the chase and the madness that come with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, the sometimes it's the thrill of the hunt. A lot of people always ask me, like, why don't you just go on Amazon and just order? And I'm like, well, that defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same? Do you feel the same way?
I do. I mean, I think there reaches a point where sometimes I have to go to that as the default. But the thrill of running in, like, all right, I'm driving by a Target. I'm gonna go in there because I'm looking for one particular figure, and I'm gonna see if I can grab it today. And I was, it was my last ones that I was trying to hunt down were the Transformers Studio Series one, the Dinobots. And I wanted to get the full set of Dinobots. And one of them, it was going for about $80 on eBay and on Amazon. And I thought, I can pay the extra couple bucks, but I was still like, okay, I'm running into Walmart. I'm supposed to be going to grab some groceries or some meat, you name it. But I can't help but divert over to that toy section and make sure I can't find it. And sure enough, I was going to get my wife some eggs, and there it was. I'm like, yes, there's that slag. I've been looking for that one. And there it is, just sitting on the shelf. And that satisfaction, and then the explanation of like, all right, you went out for eggs, and why do you have a bag with a toy in it? So it's like, all right, I had to tell her, like, no, this has been the chase, and I finally succeeded. And she's less enthusiastic about my victory, but still, she's known that that's one that I was trying to hunt down. But it's kind of that wherever you're in a store that might have toys, you always gotta shoot to that toy aisle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my daughters especially, they'll be like, I know where daddy's going. As soon as we hit if we hit Walmart, Target, and then we finally got some new like vintage stores around here finally. We Lorena and I have visited a few of those. I've picked up some really cool vintage ones there. I got some of the Superpowers lines from there. But yeah, I haven't found all of the Dinobot Studio series. I was looking for the Swoop. I know Swoop just came out, and I'm still looking for it. And the other one I'm missing is obviously Grimlock. I'm not. That one's hitting the scalper prices for sure on eBay, and that's such a beautiful.
Now I got him. I got him at retail right when he came out, so it's one of those ones.
Nice. Oh, of course, I don't even know where I did with it now. I just picked up the cartoon version, or no, the comic book version.
Oh yeah, that one's great. I just don't know if I want to pay a second time for a repaint.
Well, I have to use that one for the collection right now. I have to use that Grimlock. As soon as I find the studio series, that will definitely go in there. It's funny. A lot of people will be like, well, what do you collect? Or especially Lorena should be like, well, I don't know what to get you. I'm like, anything, because I collect everything. Do you limit yourself to what you collect? Are you all over the scope? Or what?
I am really all over. I collect vinyl albums. I collect, movies. If sometimes, DVDs, Blu-rays, even though everything's gone digital, I still like to buy the movies and Blu-rays. And I mean, not really for their rarity on that one. And then I collect Hot Toys figures, which is a line from Japan that, really high end, where you look at the face sculpts and it looks just like the actors. So I collect some of those, but of course, those collectibles you have to be more limiting because they're so expensive that you can't just be like, okay, I want to collect every single figure from every single line, because that'll, you have to remortgage your house to pull that one off. But certain figures, like, okay, they announced, I remember when they finally announced the Crow. It was years ago, but that was one. It's like, okay, that is a must-have figure for me, because you don't get at that point, especially, there weren't a lot of Crow figures even available. I think there was a McFarlane Movie Maniacs one from years ago, and of course I had that one, but not anything on that high-end scale. So certain Hot Toys become instant pre-orders for me, and I collect those. I collect the Mezco ones, which are easier on the budget, for a high-end figure, and then of course Marvel Legends and things like that as well. But you reach a point where you're just like, okay, when will we ever see these on display? So you have to kind of limit yourself, although it's still that thrill of the chase. And when you've been hunting down one particular figure, even if I know, okay, I don't know where I'm going to put it, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I gotta get this one. So it's kind of a little bit of everything all over the map for what I collect. And, it's for different reasons. Like, okay, I might go try to hunt down older albums and things, but more of that is just kind of like with the DVDs and with the Blu-rays. I just like to own something and hold it in my hands, where I could listen to every band on Spotify practically. But it's not the same as coming home, holding that album, the feel and, just the smell of that new album, and the feel of plopping it down on the turntable. You don't get that with Spotify. You can't get that feeling when you're just, okay, let me go in, scroll, press the play button. I mean, it's great if I'm on a run, if I'm driving in the car. I'm obviously not going to pop a vinyl album on when you're doing that. But, it's just, for me, I like to feel and touch the things I own.
Yeah. I just did my show on vinyls or vinyl covers the other night and showed off some of my collection on that. But yeah, speaking of Marvel Legends, I just picked up the Hulkbuster.
Oh, nice.
Marvel Legends. Yeah, that one. It wasn't my favorite armor, but it looks, we were talking about displaying, it looks really good on display, and it pops out. It pops so good. I am I'm a little bit, my main focus is 3 3/4 GI Joe. That's where my passion started back in the 80s. I've somehow managed to keep most of them throughout my life. Didn't have my mom would throw a lot of things away, but for some reason those made it through the trash compactors. And so I got that, and then I just, there was just things that I liked. I'm a huge Superman fan. So I always go for anything Superman. In fact, I got one of the new McFarlane digital series.
Oh yeah.
The Superman with the eagle that Jim Lee did. One of the Jim Lee covers. Man, I love that. But so I love Superman, but I just started. The only thing I'm a completist on, and like you were talking about, where you had to do the more, I am a completist on the GI Joe 3 3/4 and the Classified series. Now everything else is just if I like it, I'll pick it up. But I am like you said, I'm all over the place for the most part. Pops, I love. I know there's not a lot of Funko Pop people out there, but I'm a huge Funko Pop for Star Wars and some of the Marvels and other lines like that. WWE, AEW wrestling figures. I picked those up. The ones that I like, for sure. Hot Wheels, you name it. I got Hot Wheels. I'm just all over the place.
Oh yeah,
but it's fun, and like I said, I like the thrill of the hunt and the chase of finding it down. And but that's, I mean, I just wrote in fact, my I took a nonfiction writing class, and my entire story was on being a collector and the ups and downs that we go through, and people,
Oh yeah.
oh, I always get the, aren't you too old to be No, I'm not too old to be collecting. In fact, us adult collectors are now the number one consumer of toys.
Yeah.
The,
I
the,
mean, it's
the,
you look in the toy section and so much of it is for the adult collectors. You have your G.I. Joe Classified, you have your Transformer Studio series, you have new Ninja Turtle series coming out. So a lot of it is right there. And that's why Target even has a collector section now. It's like, okay, here's our toys, here's our collectible toys. And, it's become that. And for me, I mean, I just remember as long as I can remember, since the moment I had a driver's license, and even before that, I would, ride my bike to the KB Toys, and I would ride my bike because I remember there was a little circle that I could make by my house. It would take me about 5 miles, but I'd hit 2 baseball card shops. I'd hit like 2 7-Elevens, which was where I bought all my comic books, and then I would hit a KB Toys, and I would hit a record store. So it's kind of like, all right, one-stop shopping for all the stuff. And I had a paper route. So I was like, all right, I got paper money, time to go blow it all in one quick day, and just going there and looking for that one particular thing, and you're calling and you're hoping you can run into it at the right time. So just that early thrill, it's not quite the same now, but you can still, like, it's still going in those toy stores. You get that exciting moment where you see something like, okay, finally found the one that I've been hunting for.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the hardest. Now, you live in California, right? Or yeah, so you're out in California. So you probably do get a lot of the at least the initial runs. Living here in Oklahoma, I've always had some of the hardest times. Like I've waited almost a year for certain things to hit the shelves here. Like X-Men 97, when X-Men 97 came out, we saw maybe some of the kids' toys, but the actual Marvel Legends that they brought out with the X-Men 97, it took almost 7 to 8 months for us to even see that. And then I, again, I can't, as toy hunters, a lot of the toy hunters, we're up early and we're hitting the toys aisles early because we know when they stock. But man, there's times when it's just so barren, like Walmart and Target. And so, but I live in small town Guthrie, so we're one of the very small market Walmarts. So you know how they distribute things. So rarely will I ever see anything like I'll see, like, I follow a lot of the different websites, Toy Shiz. I follow the Toy News International, all those ones, and obviously I follow lots of the toy collectors on YouTube.
Yeah,
and they'll be saying, "Yeah, we got this here, and I'm still, there's still things I'm waiting for on like especially a lot of the exclusives at Walmart and Target get.
Oh yeah,
I may never see them.
And the thing is, I even living out here where I have multiple Walmarts, large ones, right around my area, I still won't see them because there are the people that get up early and they get there. And me, I go after my work, and by then they're long gone. So they open, the Walmart by me opens at 8. Well, that's my report time at work. So by the time I get there, they're long gone. But once in a while, you'll find someone who tried to stash one somewhere and is like, oh, you're walking through, and you're buying those eggs you were supposed to buy, and you're like, what's this G.I. Joe guy doing here? I've been looking for that Zartan, and there he is sitting with the eggs. So once in a while you can still get those dumb luck finds. But yeah, it's hard even with multiple Walmarts, multiple Targets. That means I've seen people camp out. I mean, I'll be driving to work and I'll drive right by one of the Walmarts, and there's that line outside. So those, I'm like, all right, my odds are 0 now. So that's when you do end up having to do the eBay route for things, even though now you're paying double or triple. And of course, that's why they're camping out. Some of them are like us. They're just proper collectors. They're camping out because they want it for their collection. But the majority are thinking, how much money can I make if I stand in this line?
Yeah. Lorraine, that's like Lorena she'll go out and or like our son will be at football practice, or she's out in town doing something for herself, and she'll hit the toy aisles for me, hit the FaceTime if I'm here or with the kids, my girls, and I love that. I love it that she's already into the into helping me out, and but yeah, she'll FaceTime, and I'll be like, you have to kind of lift up some of the shelves to see if the people have
Played
hit
the
them under
stash
there.
game.
Play the stash game. But she's actually found quite a few where like both of us are shocked that was even there at the store. So grab that. I know there's people like listening to her because we're talking back and forth. I'm like, all right, go over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that she is my enabler and my cohort in crime at times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. My wife's done plenty of the hunt for me as well, especially like when we go to San Diego Comic-Con, and they always have those top-notch exclusives. And it's kind of that divide and conquer. Like, okay, you're going this way. You go head straight to Mattel. I'm heading straight to Hasbro, and then we'll converge at NECA and get our stuff there. And then kind of, all right, now that we've finished round one, round two sends us here and there. And yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Like all of a sudden I'm getting a call from her, like, okay, this one's sold out, but they have this one. Did you want this one or that one? And yeah, it's just kind of that fun where we spend the whole first day at Comic-Con's just the hunt and the getting all the pieces that we want. So then you can start, seeing the panels and enjoying the other side of Comic-Con. But yeah, the first day is always just hunting day and just walking out, double fisted with the heavy bags full of all the stuff that you wanted. And then it's kind of like, now how the heck am I going to actually display and show this stuff off? But that, I figure that's future me's problem. When I'm getting this stuff, it's just the thrill of the hunt.
Yeah, future me is something I use quite a bit. But I did one of the ones that I've been looking for finally got, and I love this. The classified line is just fantastic. I just got the new retro Cobra Commander Vac Metal. Looks fantastic. There's been some hit or miss on the classifieds overall. If you follow any GI Joe, anybody out there listening, if you're following any GI Joe, sometimes they're split down the middle. Sometimes you have only 3 3/4 or 1/18 scale. You have the ones that just love the 6-inch scale. I like them all, and that's probably my problem of being a completist on that one.
I was such a completist when they did I think it was the 30th anniversary 3 3/4 ones, and I have every piece that came out from that series. And when the classified started, I wanted to do the same thing. And then next thing you know, a GameStop exclusive pops up and another exclusive. And I'm like, crap, where's that number 8? I have 1 through 7, then 9. And what happened to 8? Well, that was a store exclusive. So honestly, I started kind of just cherry picking that line. Because the madness and mania that went into having that complete series of the 3 3/4 ones, I'm like, I can't do that to myself again. Right. It was just crazy. And I got them all. I still have the full run, even kind of, here's the variant one with with Timber with Snake Eyes, and here's the one without Timber. And I got them all. And then finally I was just like, all right, I can't do this again, especially because they'll throw some on the Hasbro Pulse shop and you can't grab those ones right away. And if you're not a Pulse member, you miss them completely. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to get them still, but it's more, I'm going to collect my favorite characters and not have to have, 1 through whatever that final number may be.
GameStop's pretty good about, at least some of the ones that I have are really good about having some in stock. And if they're not at that store, they'll look it up and see what store it's at. So I like GameStop at that. Sometimes I'm not a big fan of GameStop, especially when it comes to the used games and things. But overall, it's not bad. We got a lot of cool, like I said, vintage stores. There's vintage stock. We have, I don't know if you have them out there, but we have a vintage stock, a couple locations around here where you can. They'll even have some of the loose ones in baggies that if you're looking for certain pieces here and there. Yeah. And then, so I like that. But are you Are you more of an out of the box? Are you in the box displayer? How are you as far as it goes, box or no box?
Honestly, that depends on the line. When it's the Mezco or the Hot Toy stuff, always out of the box for those.
Right.
But when it comes to like the Marvel Legends and the Joes, all my GI Joes are still in the box. The Masters of the Universe, when they were doing that series through the Mattel Collector website, all of those I have still in the box, because I think they started to kind of cater to the in-box collectors where they look perfectly good outside of the box. My Transformers, those are out of the box ones, because I get them. It's like, okay, well, this one needs to be robot form. This one needs to be in its, vehicle form. So I want to do those out of the box so I can kind of build the display. And that's kind of, if you look above the displays on the other side, you can see they're way zoomed out, but that's all my Transformer stuff. And I have 3 full shelves of those ones. And what I try to do is get like every generation. So there's the G1, and then there's, the animated series, and then the movie one. So I try to get a little bit of everything. And again, I can't be a completist, but with my favorite characters, like, all right, anytime a new Soundwave comes out, I'm getting that. It's the no-brainer with the He-Man line. Anytime there's a new Trapjaw, whatever version, that's, I'm going to end up getting that. So Snake Eyes, whatever Snake Eyes comes out, I got to get that one as well. So I have certain characters that I'm a completist with, where I need every piece of the collection. But with the Joes overall, or the Transformers overall, I can't get every single studio series, but every one of my favorite characters, I'm going to get those ones, even if it looks almost identical to the other one, which means, as much as I say I won't be buying another Grimlock because it's a repaint, I will, because I collect Grimlock and I want to put it up there with the full collection. So it's one I'll eventually get, but that one I'm going to try to find it at retail, but if I don't, then I just go the Amazon route, or get it on Big Bad Toy Store or something.
Yeah, I love Big Bad Toy Store. I love Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. Lots of great sites out there. When it comes to, like you were talking about, Optimus Primal, I'm going to get every Optimus Primal. I'm going to get every Starscream, every Soundwave, and I'm probably going to get every Flint for G.I. Joe. I'm going to get every Flint that's made, every Snake Eyes. Those are my go-tos. I'm going to get every as far as Star Wars goes, I'm going to get every Ahsoka.
Okay.
Ahsoka is my favorite. Yeah, Ahsoka is totally my favorite character. Besides Luke Skywalker, I'll get all the Lukes, all the Ahsokas, and all the Darths. And then Superman and Superman. Those are probably what I will get every piece of. But G.I. Joe, G.I. Joe, I'm still on the lookout for a lot of. I have the majority of the 1982 through 1994. I'm only missing a few pieces. That the 25th through when they moved up to the new body style. I'm missing a few of those as well. But I'm like, go eBay. No, I said I want to go to the vintage store. Like you said, I want to go to the vintage toy stores first, and then I'll work my way around it. When I finally we moved to we used to live down in Edmond. We moved up to Guthrie. We got a new house. Once we get some more room and things like that, our plans are to expand our house. Hopefully, then I'll be able to really broadcast all my my collection. I have a lot of it up. I will probably do a video for my YouTube channel on what I have out so far.
I need to do the same for mine, because I have a lot, and I was talking to you too, and a lot of collectors probably have this same issue. You got to rotate, because if you want to see everything you own, unless next thing you know, someone picks up Immortal Era for Netflix, and they send me the $1 million check, I got to play the rotation game, and it's okay. My wife is pretty good, because with the Hot Toys especially, she's like, all right, I'm tired of looking at these ones. I want to see new ones, so let's rotate them. And she's good about kind of giving that nudge for rotation. And you have to, especially with the 12-inch figures, because they take up a significant amount of space. as opposed to like a 3 3/4 or 6-inch. You can get more bang for your buck in that. But with the 12-inch ones, you can't put an infinite amount out there. So it's, every 6 months or so, my wife's like, all right, time for rotation. I want to see new stuff. So we just kind of swap out every one, box up the old ones, and eventually the ones will come back, because we have the Christopher Reeve Superman hot toy, and that one's up right now. But we also have the Luke from Empire, who's, from the end of Empire Strikes Back, when he's hanging on that little pole thing outside. We have that version. So that spot has rotated between those two. We have the big Hot Toys Hulkbuster as well, but we have the Ironmonger from Iron Man 1. So those,
that's what I'm looking.
They're big ones. So it's, the big ones you have to swap out. And then we have the Batmobile, and that one we actually built a coffee table around the Batmobile, so that one stays out permanently.
Yeah, I'm looking for the Ironmonger. That's that Hot Toys was a beautiful piece on the Ironmonger. Man, yeah, we'll have to. Like I said, if we get to do this regularly, hopefully we'll get to see some of those.
Yeah, I'll make sure I have some pictures next time, and we'll just kind of like do a little slideshow sharing, because my new obsession is hunting down key first appearances of comic book characters.
Yeah.
And making these shadow boxes, which are actually just sideshow lighted display cases, but they fit beautifully the comic book and the Mezco figures. So I'm using the Mezco 1/12 figures and putting the key issue behind it. So I'll move one I have right here and kind of bring it out nice and carefully so we can see it in the camera. But this is one of the displays Punisher that I made. It's the first appearance of Punisher, and then the two Mezco figures in front of it. And I was going to use Hot Toys initially, but what I found was Hot Toys covered too much of the book.
Yeah. So I think Mezco's better for that, though. Really, it shows in your display. The Mezco are way
the
better
Mezco
for that.
Work perfect, because the first display I made, I put the Hot Toys figures, and I'm just like, all right, the book's gone. You can't even see that the book is there. So I switched over to the Mezco ones, which fortunately I already own, because I know that the Punisher one is a pain to hunt down right now. So I had already owned the Punisher, and that Spider-Man, I waited for it to come out because it was the vintage one that fits better for that particular book. So it's, that's my hunt. So the new one I just got, I was hunting for the first appearance of Blade.
Nice.
And then I have the Mezco to go with it. So now that I finally got this, because the first appearance of Blade, I was hoping I would go get it at San Diego Comic-Con. But what I discovered is everybody was way too high on price. And I even told them, like, why don't you look at your eBay comps? You're going to see you're $100 higher than you should be. Yep. And I know the feeling of needing to hit your bottom line at Comic-Con, but by charging more than you're going to pay somewhere else, that's not the way to get your bottom line, because everyone's walking around with a smartphone now, and they're going to look. And as soon as you tell me your price, that minute I'm going to eBay and like, that's too much for that. So I was hoping to get it that way, but I ended up having to do the eBay route. And I have a particular budget. I said, okay, I can't spend more than this amount of money to get that particular book. And I get outbid 5, 6, 7 times, but it's okay, because eventually you'll catch the one that's at that right price. And for me, I don't worry about the grades. As long as the cover's intact, that's all I really care. Because I finally hunted down the first appearance of Punisher, and that one, it's a very low grade cover, but it's intact, and I don't care. And the same thing, I hunted down the first appearance of Wolverine, and it's missing the stamp from the inside, but I figure it's graded. I'm never going to see it. I'm not going to flip through it. I bought the nice reproduction edition that I can flip through and read it, and enjoy the actual story. But the graded ones, they're going to stay in that slab. So I try to hunt down the graded ones. And like I said, my rule is, as long as the cover's is fully intact, if it says it's missing pages, I'll survive. I'm not reading it right now anyway. And then I get those ones and shadow box those with the Mezco figure. So I have the Blade one now, and then I got a first Harley Quinn that I need to build for my next 2 shadow boxes.
Yeah, I'm still looking for the I don't get a whole lot of Mezco. I'm looking for the first appearance Batman that McFarlane just did. It's the Chase. I've got the other one. I didn't get the Chase figure, the one that actually has the purple hands or the purple gloves and the I'm looking for that one. I'm looking for I did get first appearance Superman.
Okay.
But yeah, I love that's amazing, man. I love that the ingenious things that we can come up with as collectors to display always amazes me. Like I love seeing that, and I love seeing like my friends how they display their things. My biggest problem is I have no eye for putting things together like that. But that's something now you put something in my brain that I'm gonna have to. I won't do that, but I'll probably do it with my GI Joes or something.
Yeah, and I was looking because
some of the covers.
Yeah, and I got the first. I at Comic-Con, Mezco had a Snake Eyes figure, so I'm kind of like, all right, I want to find a good Snake Eyes cover to put with that one because the first appearance of Snake Eyes in GI Joe, he's not even on the cover. So I'm like, no, it's got to be a Snake Eyes cover that I put
issue
that
21.
Yeah, that's the one right there, the silent issue.
The silent issue.
So that would be the one that I'd want to get. And then, again, I don't care about the grade, just as long as I can see that cover and it's fully intact. I'll take, 5.0 because you want the 9.8, you're paying way more money, and especially with the older vintage books. Like you want a 9.8 first Punisher, that's going to cost you in the thousands. Same thing with the Wolverine, where you can get them in the hundreds if you're satisfied with a 2.0. And I'm perfectly good with that because it's like, okay, even some of them may have a rip on the back. Like, all right, cool, because I'll be looking at the front. That's what's going to be in my display box. But now it's come back to, again, where's the room? So I have my 3 that are right here. I have the first Black Panther, the first Punisher, and then the first Wolverine with the Wolverine and Hulk in it. But that's all that fits on the top of that particular display section. So now where do I put the next one? So it's already either building shelves or it's always trying to figure out. Now you have the book, you have the shadow box. Where are you going to put the thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I wholeheartedly get that. I wish. Yeah, there's days where like my brain and as a creator, your brain is so much bigger than sometimes your palette or your sketch pad or whatever the case may be. Yeah, my room in my head is so much bigger. I have all these plans, and then I hopefully one of these days it'll come for like you said. And never say never on Immortal Era getting to Netflix. You never know, so never say never. I really hope it does because man, that will be. But
yeah, then the collection gets obscene. Where my wife's like, "What the hell just happened?" Like, well, we're building the collector's wing of our new house.
Yeah, yes,
it's our museum wing, and that's in my brain I can see it. Of course, my budget's like, you wish, sir. Stick with what you have. And I mean, I love the fact that I have collectibles up and that my wife enjoys them as well, because that's one of the things that when people first come into my house, it is loaded with collectibles. And what I'll probably do next time is I'll film a tour for my YouTube channel so you can kind of see exactly what we have, because it's upstairs, it's downstairs, and some of her friends will walk in like, ugh, why would you let your husband do that? And she's like, what are you talking about? That one's mine and that one's mine. And you see those ones, those are mine. Like our whole kitchen, the top of our kitchen counter is all of her Wonder Woman stuff. Our cabinets have a little dead space above them, and she just built her huge Wonder Woman collection above it. And she starts pointing out to the people who scoff and think, all right, we walked into a baby's home. She's like, no, she's mine, he's mine, that one's mine. She's like, my husband just puts them up, but these ones are my babies. So it's one of those things where then her friends realize, okay, it's not just me coming in and saying everything needs to be up, and this is this is the way it is. Like, no, we enjoy it together, and we enjoy the hunt together, and it's something that it's a shared passion. I would say definitely higher passion on my end, but something that we still both enjoy.
Yeah, that's Lorena. She's Xena and Jean Grey. So or Phoenix and Jean Grey. So
Yeah.
yeah, she's that's her. That's hers. And well, she really loves. Well, she just loves X-Men. Period. But Jean Grey and Phoenix are one of her favorites.
Yeah, my wife, we kind of have a shared love of the 89 Batman movie, where that
Oh
was
yeah.
kind of, we had the first comic book movie experience we had where it was all of the hype and it was just built up around everywhere that was the movie you had to see, and everyone's sporting Batman shirts. And I tell people, it was like for 5 minutes, the Batman shirts I was wearing were actually cool. Then that moved on and people are like, I remember one of the cool kids walked up to me and goes, "Ugh, you still wearing a Batman shirt?" I'm like, all right, I'm not cool anymore. But I enjoyed the minute where it was like the all the cool kids had the Batman stuff on, and for me, I was like, heck yes, I can actually buy Batman shirts, because before it was hard to find them. We didn't have Hot Topic when I was growing up, where you can get every fandom under the sky right there in that shop, where the bands you love, the TV shows, the comics, they're all there. Hot Topic wasn't until I hit more college was when those started to pop up. So it was, if you could find a Batman shirt out in the wild, it was just dumb luck and you were happy. But for a minute, you walked into Target and there were Batman shirts because of the movie. And that's something we both love. And that's why we wanted to get that 6-scale Batmobile from that movie. And that's one that she actually talked me into getting. It was one of those rare occasions where I'm like, it's just so damn much. How can we afford it? And she's like, well, if we break it up, Hot Toys releases their stuff really slowly. And we had a collectible shop actually by our house, and we could just bring in payments. She's like, well, if we just pay $50 a month, we can pay it off before it comes in. So it's the big high-end figure that my wife actually nudged me to get, which is, the rare case when she was like, we can't not buy this thing. We'll regret it. So that was the one that she got me to get. And now, like I said, we built a coffee table around it. So next time we do this, I'm going to go film things, and that way we can kind of show off all the different pieces of the collection.
Yeah, I'm going to do, I would like to do that. So maybe we'll put some pictures together. We'll do some slideshows on the next show. Mm-hmm. Is there a, we'll get this one out of the way. Is there a grail that you're absolutely looking for that you just can't find, or it's just out of your grasp?
It's a grail, but it has a whole backstory. It is the Michael Jordan 86 Fleer rookie card. And it's a grail because I once owned it. I didn't just once own it. I owned multiple copies of the thing. It wasn't a hard card to get. I walked to 7-Eleven, bought packs of those basketball cards, and you could get them plentifully. But I had a set of them. I had a full set, and I sold the set to this guy, and I think it was for either $25 or $50, what it was going for at the time, because I had enough doubles where I didn't have 2 complete sets, but I had close enough. And I remember I sold it to the guy, and then they weren't in great condition because I had them as a 12-year-old, and I flipped through them and they had bent corners, and the kid started to complain to his mom. So the kid's mom starts to call my dad over and over and over again. Your son ripped my child off. I want the money back. And of course, I told you my little circle I could make, that money was long gone. That money had been spent, maybe an hour after I got it. And my dad's like, you have to give this guy his money back. I'm like, I don't have the money. He's like, well, I'm not giving it to you. So finally the mom goes, well, your son told my son that he has like 4 more of those Jordan cards, and he has other cards that are his doubles. And I want him to give all those cards to my son. And my dad's like, you got to give them to him. I'm like, but that's not a fair deal. I mean, I want to keep those Jordans. I sold the set knowing that all my favorite players in it, I still had copies of. And my dad, just tired of this mom, constantly calling him and pestering him, he goes, give him those cards and shut her up. So all those Jordan rookies shipped off to that kid, and man, he probably things, just thinking about what they're worth now. Like one that's practically like that you crumbled in a ball or used in the spokes of your bike could still fetch you a couple $1,000. the thought is like,
Yep.
oh, I want to own that card again. It's one of those things where even like I said, the junkiest grade one's going to cost you $2,000. That's my grail. I want to own that one card again. I mean, I'll never get all the other ones that I lost in that whole endeavor, but it still eats me up. Like, I will wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and think, why did I say yes? Why didn't I stash a couple of them? He didn't need to know I had 4, but I happened to say I did. So that's what the mom demanded. But I'm like, I was wrong. I only had 3. And if I had just stashed 1 in a box of Garbage Pail Kids or something that no one was going to bother looking at, I could have kept 1 Jordan rookie and still owned 1. Because, that's what it comes down to, is I want to own that in my collection again. So that's my current grail. But my grails are always revolving. Once I own it, then a new grail comes up. And, a lot of these first appearances, those were my grails. I wanted that first Punisher. I wanted that first appearance of Wolverine. There's certain grails like, okay, I'd love a first appearance of Batman, but again, no one's called me for Immortal Era saying, hey, guess what? We're adapting it. Even then, it's like you're going to spend $1 million to get one that, is completely thrashed.
Yeah.
So certain grails, you'll never get, and I'll just have to be satisfied with a reproduction one. But yeah, I mean, I guess the ultimate grail would be a first Batman, that Detective 27.
Yeah, 27. Yeah.
No, you can never actually own it. That's a grail figure for me. And the Jordan, I will own that damn thing. And it's, that's my obtainable grail. But first Batman is my, okay, pie in the sky, the Brinks truck backed up into my driveway, and now Netflix wants Corruptor 2. So, hey, I can't afford that first Batman. But yeah, that's kind of where they are right now. The Jordan is in if I can move enough things and wiggle enough things, maybe I can actually own that. And the Batman is, if I can sell my titles to streaming services, then there's that Batman for me. So there's my long story for your question. So what's your grail?
Oh man. Right now, still the USS flag. That will, it's been since, it's been 37, 38 years that I still haven't got one. I will own one of these days. I will get it. I will find it. But that's one I'm working on. And then there is I want the original 1979 lineup of Battlestar Galactica. So you have the entire line is what I'm looking for. I've seen parts and pieces, but I would like to have Battlestar Galactica all in for the collection. It's not a very big collection. Yeah,
that one's attainable.
Yeah,
I think the flag, you're in the same boat I am with the Jordan. You're going to pay about that much to get a complete one. But it's one of those ones like, all right, and I just think, all right, even if I start putting away like $20 a month, in 2 years I can buy that Jordan, because it's not like he's playing anymore. There's nothing that's going to happen short of his death, but he seems to be young enough and healthy enough that that's not going to happen. But if I just do, a little bit a month and think, all right, now I have enough, I've saved for 2 years, I'm going to get that Jordan. And, it's like I actually have the 6 scale Michael Jordan figure that they did a few years ago, and I want to put that right next to it. So that's the ultimate goal. Build the shadow box kind of like the ones I have for the comic stuff, but build that with a Michael Jordan and his rookie card in there with it. And again, I don't care about grade. Just get me one that's not ripped. I want it to not be ripped. If it's bent up, so are mine. I mean, that's the thing. It's not like I owned all these Gem Mint perfect ones. I mean, I flipped through them. I put them in team sets, and then I looked at them again. And it's like I touched them because you didn't think, oh, this card one day could buy you a house if you keep it perfect and pristine.
Right.
If I'd know that, give me my time machine. I'll go to that 7-Eleven and buy all right, I'm going to buy all 8 boxes of this and sell a sealed box on eBay right now. I'm like, all right, cool. Mortgage is paid off. What's next? Right. Golden Auctions will be calling me up like, hey, we heard you have a sealed box. We want to buy that, and we're going to put it on our thing, and a minimum bid is $1 million. So yeah, it's one of those things where. Yeah,
Golden would definitely do that. Yeah. Oh, Well, all right. We got about all the time we can do tonight. We'll be back. Like I said, uh, we'll get together, figure out when our next show is on this. I'd like to do this on a monthly basis, or at least a couple times a month. We'll figure it out from there. But I'll get with you after the show. But I appreciate you coming out, guys. You can check out Ed on at finishlinecomics.com, correct? That's well correct. As you can find him on YouTube. I will share all those links later. I'm still, as Edward and I were talking backstage before all this started, I'm still learning all this. We're both learning StreamYard as it is. So once we get all that figured out, I'll be able to do all that. But I appreciate you coming out tonight, bud.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's fun.
Yeah, and we'll talk comics again. We'll talk some more of your. Let me know when your next Kickstarter is. We'll get you on for the Kickstarter, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, hoping for Halloween for that one. So Immortal Era 10 will be launching soon.
Great. So there you guys have it. We just talking a little bit about our history with toys. We'll have more for you next time. Some collection pictures, things like that, and we'll just start breaking down. Certain lines at a time. We might just talk about Transformers one time. We might just talk about He-Man. You never know what we're going to talk about, but appreciate you, Ed, and we'll see you on the next show, my friend.